Oh yeah, cat. Words of wisdom. Drop that zero and get with the hero.
But I really didn't know what to, what to expect.
You lie about your background.
I mean, that's all old news. I didn't lie about
But
nothing.
I haven't.
All I heard was like Ice Ice Baby. And I knew all these stones was being thrown at him. And I'm like, that song is whack. But why are all these stones really being thrown at him?
I was young, manipulated, and I was a puppet.
Message of the devil. It's a spiritual war. So what happens is, in order for that artist to be in position to even mislead the people, they have to be worthy. This is hazing. This is the hazing aspect of it. In order to climb the ladder in the music industry, you have to be hazed. And when you're getting hazed, you're getting in your ass.
You say like basically
this homosexual ritual.
Vanilla Ice is finally dropping the truth about why he vanished from the spotlight, and trust it's way deeper than anyone ever guessed. For years, folks just brushed him off as another one-hit wonder who couldn't survive in the rap game. But now, it turns out there was something way more twisted going down behind the scenes. Word is, some powerful music execs allegedly tried to drag him into those shady secret industry rituals people always whisper about.
Having relationships with guys? No. Was I doing things with guys that would probably be deemed to be gay?
How did the industry situation turn you into a man? It really didn't. If anything, it tried to take man stripes from me.
But Ice, he wasn't having it. He straight up said no and walked away from it all, but not before facing some real wild stuff that almost cost him everything. He's lucky to be here telling the story, because not everyone makes it out like that. So how did he dodge the same trap that swallowed up so many artists before him? And did he seriously get that close to being another name on the industry's dark list? The people at the top don't want this story out, but we're diving right in. We're about to uncover how Vanilla Ice managed to escape the shadows of the music biz, and why walking away might have been the smartest and most dangerous move of his entire life. Back in the early 90s, Vanilla Ice was the face of pop rap, blowing up overnight. But just as fast as he rose, he disappeared. Most thought it was just because his fame fizzled out. But now, fresh reports are saying it wasn't just about fading trends or missing talent. There was something way more serious going on behind closed doors. Allegedly, those big-name industry bosses didn't just want Vanilla Ice for his talent, they wanted him deep in their twisted, behind-the-scenes games, the same dark, ritualistic stuff that other artists have whispered about for years. Recent reports claim that when Vanilla Ice was at the top of the charts, the so-called gatekeepers of the music world tried to reel him in. They allegedly invited him to those mysterious private parties, the same kind now being linked to Diddy. Yeah, those ones, but Ice wasn't down for any of it. He said no, cold. Later on, he even threw shade at the whole system, calling out the lies, the fake people, and the ugly truth behind the glitz. Then, he bounced. Just like that. Now about those creepy invite-only parties, when Vanilla Ice was on fire, Diddy was still working his way up in the background. By the time Diddy became a household name, Ice had already dipped from the scene. But here's the thing, those rumors, they say Diddy didn't come up with these wild rituals on his own. Word is he learned from the same powerful insiders who once tried to pull Ice in. After Ice Ice Baby blew up, Vanilla Ice supposedly caught the attention of some seriously influential players, like the late music exec Charles Koppelman. And Koppelman, he had tight connections with Clive Davis, the same music mogul who mentored Diddy.
You know, the time that Whitney died, that night when we were at, my Grammy party, and it was Puffy. It really was Puffy, Diddy, all Puffy, of the... Back to Puffy. And for him to so articulately sum why we were there together, why the party had to go on, why the musical community had to be joined together. Very touching, very special.
Now here's the real bombshell. Behind closed doors, these industry powerhouses allegedly saw Vanilla Ice as way more than just a hit maker. They saw him as a major asset, and maybe even something darker. But behind the scenes, these execs allegedly saw Vanilla Ice as a puppet they could mold and control. He was being nudged toward the same shadowy rituals that would later get tied to Diddy. But Ice wasn't blind to it. He saw through the setup, and just before they could drag him all the way into their twisted machine, he backed out. He ghosted the mainstream and vanished from the music scene. For good. But don't get it twisted, it wasn't some clean escape. Ice has said there were moments where he honestly didn't think he'd make it out alive. It was that intense. Here's the backstory. Vanilla Ice, real name Robert Matthew Van Winkle, was discovered in 1987 by DJ Floyd Earthquake Brown, who spotted him rocking a club in South Dallas called City Lights. That moment kicked off a wild ride. Just 2 years later, he dropped his major label debut, To the Extreme, and it went nuclear. The album sold a mind-blowing 15 million copies across the globe. That made it the fastest-selling record since Purple Rain by Prince, which dropped 6 years earlier, and then came Ice Ice Baby, the track that flipped the game. It became the first rap song ever to hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, blasting rap right into the American mainstream. Vanilla Ice wasn't just big, he was everywhere. His face was plastered across pop culture, and even Hollywood wanted in. In 1991, he made his big screen debut in Cool as Ice.
This sleepy little town is about to become cool as ice.
Drop it. What the hell is that? Drop that zero and get with the hero.
Trying his hand at acting while still riding the wave. And get this, he even caught Madonna's attention. She was feeling him so much she actually proposed. Yup, Madonna. But Ice turned her down, saying his focus was on his career. He was still young, just in his early 20s, and wasn't about to get tied down when everything was just popping off.
Proposed to me. I mean, things were going so crazy and fast, man. I was just like, what? I thought the guy was supposed to do that. What do you mean? Wait a minute. This is too fast. I'm just getting started here, and I'm way too young for this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was crazy. The more I think about it, the more crazy.
Unlike a lot of stars who let the fame go straight to their heads, Vanilla Ice actually settled down early. He wasn't out here chasing models or jumping from one celebrity hookup to the next. In 1997, he married Laura Giarita, and they had 2 daughters together. Shockingly, they stayed married for almost 2 decades, which is rare in Hollywood, especially for someone who had women going wild for him back in the day.
An in-store, which is called an autograph signing party in Miami. And this place only holds the record store is called Specs, and it only holds 500 people. And there's 5,000 people showed up. Out, hanging out in the mall, hanging outside, inside, completely packed. And I had 3 security guards, plus the mall security, which was about 7 of them. So there's about 10 security guards altogether. And I go, okay, come up next. Whoever wants to come next, get a autograph. Wow. The whole crowd. I mean, they ripped. I had my MTV shirt on and everything, and they ripped it completely off. My censorship shirt, ripped it completely off. Broke my watch on the concrete. The security guards had to drag me out of there because the girls had hold of my pants and I couldn't walk, and I was just getting dragged this way and pulled this way. It was incredible. It was terrible. They wrote on the limo with a marker, "We love you, Vanilla Ice," on an all-white limousine with a magic marker that doesn't, a permanent marker.
But things didn't end smoothly. In 2016, Laura filed for divorce, claiming Ice had cut her off financially and was hiding money. Even though it ended messy, lasting that long in the industry, that's practically unheard of. At just 23 years old, Vanilla Ice was briefly the biggest name in rap. But while he was racking up fans, he also became a lightning rod for backlash. Some hip-hop heads accused him of cultural appropriation, and others questioned whether he was even legit. One major moment? When Arsenio Hall straight up called him out on national TV for lying about where he was from.
Arsenio Hall show, at first I was a fan, What you gonna do? And then I became definitely not a fan of the show, especially after I did the show.
Call me Vanilla Ice.
Yeah. In all fairness to my audience, when you talk about Vanilla Ice, I was mad at Vanilla Ice before the interview started. You have been embroiled in a lot of controversy. The press has been really hard on you lately, saying that you lie about your background.
I mean, that's all old news. I didn't lie about.
But I haven't interviewed you, so it's new news for my audience. So let's get into it.
I thought he was a little hard on me. He was venomous.
I've heard stories about me lying about where I came from and everything, and I never lied. Let me just tell you, when the record company creates all this stuff, bios around you, and they have your own publicists and everything, they create this image, okay? This image. And it's easy to hate on that image because it's a novelty act image, I was kind of thrown into this new kids with snot category.
Ice later tried to clear things up, saying he wasn't trying to fake anything. He just didn't feel comfortable being real at the time. He explained, "I lived in Miami and wrote Ice Ice Baby about it. I didn't think about where I was from at the time." Then he added, "That only became a thing after I was famous. I was like, where I'm from? Who effing cares where I'm from? I was embarrassed to tell people I was from Farmers Branch, Dallas. I didn't tell them I was from Miami. I didn't tell them I was from anywhere. I was just like, listen, I'm from around the corner, man." That quote says it all, that I'm from around the effing way. That's how Vanilla Ice put it, and he wasn't trying to fake the funk. He later admitted he purposely threw people off, saying he just wanted to keep some parts of his life private. But even that didn't stop the critics. They kept picking at his story, questioning everything, especially his street cred. Still, Ice wasn't trying to ride anyone's coattails. He didn't want handouts. He wanted to earn his spot. He got obsessed with 80s dance culture. Movies like Breakin' and Beat Street became his blueprint. Night after night, he'd grind, practicing those iconic moves until the sun came up. In one interview, he said, "I can't tell you how many sleepless nights I'd stay up and mimic the moves from Breakin' and Beat Street, watching them dance with the broom, the fishing line, doing the robot, and then throwing in my own moves. My mentality was always, no matter what it is, you have to prove yourself." That hustle ran deep. Ice eventually put together his own dance crew and started performing at malls, breakdancing, beatboxing, freestyling, racking up $40 a day just spinning on his head. He told GQ in 2013, "I used to spin on my head at the mall and make $40 a day, and it was more than my rich friends could get for allowance." He didn't have it easy either. Ice dropped out of high school, never knew his biological dad, and watched his mom go through several marriages. He came up lower middle class, juggling odd jobs just to keep chasing that dream. He was the only white kid in a mostly black scene, trying to prove he belonged. "I had no crystal ball about the future," he said. "I just knew that there was an energy around me and I was gonna do something with this. I knew it." Now that's real drive. There were too many people who liked what I was doing. That's what Vanilla Ice said about his early rise, and it wasn't just talk. He dove headfirst into the local hip-hop scene, and everything changed when a friend dared him to spit bars at open mic night at Club City Lights. Ice grabbed the mic and the crowd went crazy. The club manager was so hyped, he invited Ice to start performing regularly. Before long, he was opening for legends like NWA, Public Enemy, the DOC, Paula Abdul, Sinbad, and MC Hammer. Ice became a hometown name in Dallas. He wasn't just rapping, he was doing it all. Winning motocross races, battling at parties, and showing out on Forest Lane, a hotspot in South Dallas. But it wasn't all smooth. At one point, Ice was stabbed 5 times in a violent attack. He lost 4 pints of blood and spent days in the hospital. It nearly ended everything. That show at City Lights, it changed the game. Talent scouts started noticing. A&Rs from major labels began sliding him their business cards. Thanks to his unique style, slick moves, and marketable look, even Public Enemy tried to get their own producer Hank Shockley to sign him to Def Jam. That's how serious the buzz was. But Ice didn't go that route. He signed with SBK Records in 1990, and the rest was history. As he blew up, Ice earned props from some major names. He toured with MC Hammer on the Please Hammer, Don't Hurt 'Em World Tour, and even caught the attention of Tupac. Hammer himself had this to say: "I was shocked to see a white kid who was, number 1, rapping, and number 2, dancing. He was playing for a 100% black club, the only white kid in there, but that didn't deter him. He wasn't trying to emulate dance moves. Instead, Ice carved his own lane, stayed true to his vibe, and made sure people saw him, not a copy of someone else. That confidence, that's what made people stop and watch. He was dancing, and not just on stage, but through the chaos around him. When it comes to Tupac, Vanilla Ice made it clear in interviews that Pac never had a problem with him. In fact, they actually hung out back in the early 90s.
But how did black artists treat you?
Great. That's where I'm. Listen,
like Tupac or Biggie or those guys.
Oh, good friends of mine. I was friends with Tupac way before he even blew up. When he was with Digital Underground, NWA. I was the opening act. Listen, I was the opening act for the opening act for the opening act for the opener for the opener when we did the Stop the Violence tour with NWA, Stetsa Sonic, EPMD, Sir Mix-a-Lot. So I was that kid out there, and they were great friends. They embraced me.
Tupac was all about keeping it real in hip-hop and wasn't afraid to call people out. But he never came for Vanilla Ice. He didn't accuse him of stealing from the culture or being fake. Quite the opposite. Ice said Tupac gave him advice and even had his back when other rappers were throwing shade, but things took a wild turn when Suge Knight entered the picture. Now that relationship was a whole different beast. There's a now legendary story involving Suge allegedly dangling Ice off a balcony. And yeah, it's as crazy as it sounds. Here's how it all started. A songwriter named Mario Chocolate Johnson claimed he helped write multiple tracks for Vanilla Ice, including Ice Ice Baby. In 1990, Johnson was managed by Suge Knight. So when Suge found out about his involvement, he reportedly rolled up on Vanilla Ice and demanded a cut of the profits. And when people say pressured, they're not talking about a phone call. According to the story, Suge grabbed Ice by the ankles and hung him over the balcony of a hotel room until he agreed to give up 25% of the royalties. Wild, right? Now, Ice later cleared the air. He said Suge didn't exactly hang him by the ankles, but made it very clear what the deal was during that balcony conversation. No confusion about what Suge wanted.
That's not what he says at all. I had my bodyguards who had guns, and they had their people which had guns, and they had us outpowered and outnumbered.
Talking publicly about it for the first time, Van Winkle describes a terrifying night in his suite at a Beverly Hills hotel when he says Suge Knight showed up with 6 other men.
Roughed one of my bodyguards up. They roughed everybody else in my whole entourage.
But fast forward to today, the tables have definitely turned. Vanilla Ice is out here flipping mansions and stacking millions as a real estate investor. Meanwhile, Suge Knight is locked up and won't even be eligible for parole until October 2034, when he'll be 69 years old. Guess who came out on top in the end? Ice kept it moving and left the chaos behind. After blowing up in the music scene and then walking away from all the chaos, Vanilla Ice flipped the script, literally. He reinvented himself as a real estate mogul way before house flipping was even a trend. While others were still chasing fame, Ice was out in Florida buying properties, renovating homes, and turning his music money into a whole new empire. His eye for design and sharp business sense landed him a hit show, The Vanilla Ice Project, which ran for multiple seasons on the DIY network.
For the real estate, I've been doing it for over 30-something years. I've been a GC. I went to design school, got a degree 18 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's why the TV show has 180 episodes and 13 seasons, is because we still just do it. I really do it. There's no fluff to my show, you know? I go to seminars all over the world, man. Anytime a seminar comes in, and I'll go to real estate seminars, I'll go to self-help seminars, I go to all kinds of things. I'm really clean. Like I had a weekend, like you, I think, that lasted about 3 years, way back in my early 20s, and then I've been clean since, so it's been a long time because I'm getting...
No gimmicks, no scandals, just straight hustle. He didn't cave to the pressure of those creepy industry parties or let the fame swallow him whole. He walked away with his soul intact and played the long game. Now, he's still stacking money while most of the people who tried to clown him back in the day are either broke or behind bars. A lot of fans say ditching the spotlight was the smartest move he ever made. And honestly, they might be right. He got out before the industry could chew him up and built success on his own terms. No sellout moves, no industry puppeteering, just smart choices and real work. But now we want to hear from you. What do you think about Vanilla Ice's journey? Was it genius for him to bounce when he did? And how do you feel about the claims that industry higher-ups tried to pull him into that freak-off mess? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget, like, share, and subscribe for more wild breakdowns just like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.